Hello everybody, this is Dave Greenhaw, Pastor Dave from the Remnant Church in San Luis Obispo. And today we're going to start talking about real prophets, fake prophets. Real prophets come from the Bible. And the first one we're going to talk about is Elijah. Now, Elijah is one of the main prophets in the Old Testament, and he had many challenges, but God gave him many prophetic words that did come true. First of all, we're going to talk about his prophetic word he gave from God to King Ahab. King Ahab had a wonderful wife named Jezebel that had gotten into worshiping Canaanite gods, especially Baal. She set up worship areas, temples all over the Judah area. And she had a really big goal of pushing out the worship of Yahweh, the one true God of Israel, the God that we know, we worship as Christians. Well, first of all, the first prophetic word that God gave Elijah to give to King Ahab was, because of your worship of these Baal gods, because of your turning away from the God Yahweh me, I'm going to show you who really is real. There will be a drought. There will be no rain. And it will not start again after I say so until I correct it and send rain again, and it will tell you through my prophet Elijah. Well, it got so bad that it was turning into a famine, and Ahab basically had all his people out looking for Elijah because he was a man with a mark on his head, the crosshairs you would say. He was a target to bring in and to want to kill, basically, because of what he had done to the country. He hadn't done it. He gave God's prophetic word to him. He wasn't a very popular guy in that land at the time. So anyway, that happened, and when the drought was really over as far as God was concerned, really kind of came to a head after basically there was a showdown at Mount Carmel. And the showdown was this. Elijah said, bring all your prophets, Israel, for Baal, up to the mountain where we will make sacrifices. We'll set up altars, and let's see who the real God is. And that happened, and it was an all-day event. There was around 400, I think, prophets of Baal up there, with just Elijah himself, representing God. So they set their altars up. And they are going kind of crazy, trying everything to get something to happen, cutting themselves, doing all kinds of strange things. And basically, Elijah said, where's your God? He hasn't showed up. Is he out doing something else? And finally, Elijah told them to put more and more water around a ditch around this sacrifice altar, to the point it looked kind of like it's impossible to light off. He even set the sacrifice up. And he looked up to God and called to God and prayed, Lord, send down fire, and prove to them, basically, you are God. Well, that happened very quickly. It was sent down so quickly and so hard that it consumed everything. Now that's a real prophetic word, isn't it? The people of Israel that were up there were so amazed, so surprised, and nothing had happened with the prophetic people of Baal. And at that point, Elijah says, you need to kill these false prophets. You need to get back to God. And they did that. Those prophets were sacrificed. Jezebel wasn't very happy. She went after Elijah later. And also, God sent rain back to that nation because they were taking actions of going back to him. So, prophetic word number one, no rain. It didn't rain. Turn back to me and it will rain. And it did rain. God is always right. God's prophecies always come true. And a true prophet can be really found and seen by speaking for God, from God. And it always comes true. All the rest of the prophecies have been fulfilled and will be fulfilled before Jesus comes back. And the really big thing today, as always, is he's coming back soon. But is he coming for you? Or is he coming for me? I hope so. See you next time. Bye.